Hey everyone, welcome to Prospect Engine's Facebook Ads Masterclass. By the end of this video, you're going to know how to easily attract leads using social media so that you can stack your pipeline during this flood of new deals that's going to be happening as interest rates start to ease. Now, I wish that there was some ad or crazy automation that I could give you that's going to have clients immediately wanting to sign with you just by seeing it, but the truth is that's not how this works. Social media is one of the most cost-effective ways to advertise your brand to thousands of people in your target area. But unlike FSBOs and expireds, you're going to be reaching these leads before they enter the market. And this can take some time to build and nurture these relationships. So you need a creative follow-up system that's going to help you keep in contact with your prospects. Your goal here is to try and keep these people informed with helpful information so that when they do finally enter the market, you're going to be the only agent that they're thinking of. And this does take some time, so you don't want it to be too time consuming, and you want to make sure that you have your marketing budget set aside before you even start. I always recommend automating as much of your follow-up as possible. This is going to help free up your time so you can take care of the clients that you already have while still having the ability to market and grow your brand and keep in contact with all of your leads that come in. For example, Prospect Engine has the ability to launch ads right from the platform, as well as send out automated text, emails, and prompt you to call a lead as soon as it comes in. We've done this by teaming up with a number of different software companies to make it as easy as possible for our agents to manage their ads and leads all from one platform. So if you would like to see inside a Prospect Engine and see exactly how it works, you can schedule a walkthrough using the calendar link below. And for the first 20 agents that schedule their walkthrough using the link on this page, we will personally set up your first Facebook campaign, including the media, targeting, and the lead forms completely free. In this video, we are going to take you through every step of the lead generation process, including some tips on how you can automate your follow-up. And we're going to be using the Facebook Ad Manager just to ensure that everybody watching this training can benefit from it. And we've even included one of our top performing ads that you can copy and use to set up your ad as you follow along. So we're going to start this training with lead magnets.
Hopping into Prospect Engine here, the first thing that you need in order to attract leads is a magnet. You need something that people actually want and want to provide their information in exchange for. So that is why we built the Magnet Machine. We've got professionally written guides, checklists, mailers, you name it, they're all in here. And in order to get them, all you need to do is click Get Template. Now this is going to pull the information straight over to your Canva account. And if you haven't used Canva in the past, I'm going to give you just a quick Canva tutorial because it is so powerful for realtors. Heading over to Canva, we can search for any template that we might want. For example, door hangers. Maybe you want to go farm with some door hangers. We can choose any one of these templates, simply edit the text, drag and drop some different images in here. Or maybe you want to create some home flyers. Maybe you have a new listing, you need to advertise. Just type in home flyers. We have a ton of different templates that you can use. Or you can use one of our professionally crafted lead magnets from Prospect Engine. And the nice thing about this is they are designed to help set you up as the expert in your field. And you'll see what I mean here as I scroll through this. Just tons of value provided to your prospects and setting you up as the expert, which ultimately is going to result in more business for you. Now, scrolling back up to the top, I just want to give you a quick Canva tutorial and show you how easy it is to edit these templates and add your phone number or your website so that you are just one click away from a call or an email from your leads. And this footer right here might not seem like it, but it is super powerful and will get a ton of leads reaching back out to you for more help or to hire you. So to give you a quick rundown of how easy it is to customize anything in Canva, let's just say that you want to edit this bio. In order to edit text, you just double click, change the text that way. If you want to change any of these images, all you need to do is upload your own or head over to the Photos tab. You can search for any image that you might want and then just drag and drop this and it'll just snap into place just like that. Now, if you want to edit the positioning, just double click. We can kind of drag and position this the way we want. Scrolling down a little bit here, you can change the text or images on any of these pages, customize it in the way that fits you and your market. But let me show you why I love digital assets and digital lead magnets so much. So let's say we want to edit this footer here and add a phone number. And you want to link it so that if a lead clicks that link, it is directed straight to their phone so they can call you instantly, or maybe to your website, or maybe even send you an email. So we can add hyperlinks here by just clicking and then clicking this little link button. Now for a telephone number, you might have to memorize this, but it's just TEL and then colon, and then you just type your number in. So 888, whatever your number is. Now for your email, all you need to type in is just mail to. So 2 little words you need to remember, mail to colon or TEL colon for telephone number. So for your email address, you just type in your email address here and then click enter. And as soon as you do that, it's going to add a link so that your leads are 1 click away from contacting you, whether it's a phone call or email or visiting your website. And the magic behind this is because this is 21 pages of value, leads are going to keep coming back to this over and over again to get the information, and your phone number, your website's going to be at the bottom of every single page. So they are much more likely to reach out to you just because of mere exposure. And once your lead magnet is done, it is very easy to share. You just click on this button right here. We can either download this as a PDF and send it to our leads. We could just send them a view only link, or we could actually embed this on our website if we really wanted to. So Canva makes this very easy for us, and it is a tool that we love so much. Now, once our lead magnet is ready to go, we need to get it in front of people so that they can offer up their information in exchange for that lead magnet. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to use a free list of homes today. That way you don't have to create any digital assets or anything in Canva in order to start running ads immediately. So the next thing we need then is an ad, so that we can attract leads. And we're going to use Facebook today. And I'm going to show you how to set up a Facebook campaign, even if you've never ran ads before. We're going to head into our social media ads suite, where we have a ton of different templates that we can simply launch at any moment. Now, you have a link below this video to download one of our best performers for this month so that you can start running ads today. But just note that we are constantly updating all of these ads on a monthly basis because it is just natural for ads to die out over time, or for the market to shift, and for people to react to different things. So right now, what's working is a free list of homes if people are looking to upsize or downsize. So we just have an upsize, downsize ad, and we can click this use template button, pull this straight over to our Canva account. Now, the reason I love this ad so much is because of how versatile it is. You could attract sellers or buyers running this ad. I'm going to show you how in just a second. And you can also customize the images to fit different markets. Whether you're selling apartments, condos, townhomes, you can simply change out these images and run this ad for any market. So how would I advertise this to sellers? I'd simply offer a free home evaluation for people looking to upsize or downsize their home. And if I want to attract buyers, I'd simply offer a free list of homes for anyone looking for a bigger house or a smaller house. So very simple. In order to customize this ad to fit any market, let's say you want to advertise apartments, condos, townhomes, you name it, we can head over to the Photos tab and type in anything here. I'm just going to type in house to show you how you can use this image here and replace any one of these images on the ad here. So very easy. You can also upload your own images if you don't find anything that will work here. Now, once you have this ad ready to go, we can simply download this to our computer. It's a PNG or JPEG, doesn't really matter. And then we can use this to launch our very first ads. So that brings us to our next step, which is heading over to the Facebook Business Manager and setting up an account. Now, if you've never ran Facebook ads in the past, there's a few prerequisites that you need to take care of first. You need to head to business.facebook.com and you need to set up a Business Manager account. So it's just going to ask you for a few questions. And this way we are ready to run ads. Now, as soon as that is set up, head over to your business settings. It's going to look a little bit like this. If you don't know how to get there, click on All Tools and Business Settings, because there's a few things that every new business needs to set up before they're ready to run ads. And the first thing is add another admin onto your account. I know a lot of you have been dealing with Facebook bans, and if you get locked out of your account, you're going to lose access to your business manager. So add another person onto your account, whether that's a spouse, significant other, friend, family member, it really does not matter. They're just here in case you get locked out or if you have any issues with your personal account. That way you don't lose access to your business manager. And again, Facebook can be very strict. So if any of you are dealing with any bans, I have a separate video that goes through personal bans, ads manager bans, business manager bans, you name it, how to deal with that and best practices moving forward. So if that's something that you want, just reach out and I'd be happy to send that over to you. Next thing that you're going to need to do is add a page because your personal profile will not work to run ads. So if you do not have a page, just go ahead and click this blue add button and you can create a new page. Otherwise, if you already have an existing business page, you can click on this add page and add that into the back end of your business manager account. So after you've created a new page, you're going to need to add yourself to it so that you have access to this page in Business Manager if you don't already. In order to do that, you just click on this search by ID your name, type your name here, and then make sure that you have full control of this page. After you have your first page added, the last thing that you will need is an ad account. So under our ad accounts tab here, we can click on add and create a new ad account. Now you're just gonna name it, click next, and it might ask you for a credit card. It's not going to charge you anything. It is just being proactive, getting you ready to start running ads. And after we've done those 3 prerequisites, we are ready to launch our very first ad. So we can open our ads manager here, or we can just click on all tools and head over to ads manager. Now we're going to create our first campaign. So we're just going to click this green button and we are going to optimize for leads. So the very first thing you need to tell Facebook is what you're trying to do. We're optimizing for leads, and then we can click continue. Now we're going to set up a manual leads campaign today. You can choose tailor leads campaign. It's going to make things a little bit more streamlined. I always like to do a manual leads campaign, just gives you a little bit more control. And after this video today, you're going to understand every step of the process. So I would just recommend going with a manual leads campaign. Now, I always recommend creating one campaign for buyers and one for sellers. So kind of separating the two. We're just going to go with a buyers campaign today. I'm actually going to name this our top of funnel buyers campaign. We're going to leave everything else off. And one thing that I want to mention here is you always want to select a special ads category, and you need to select housing. If you do not do this, you're at risk of getting your ad account shut down. So anytime we're advertising real estate, we need to select a special ads category. Facebook is very strict about this. After that is selected, go ahead and click next. And then we're going to move on to our ad sets. Now this is where we set up our targeting options. So remember, campaign level is where we set up our objective. We want leads. Underneath that, we have our ad sets. That's where we're going to set up all of our targeting. Who do we want to show our ads to? Underneath that is simply our ads. That is the picture that we just created. So 3 levels here, a little bit confusing, but we're going to go through this step by step so that you understand it. We're going to leave the name of our ad set blank for right now, and we want to set up an instant form. That way, contacts are just giving their information directly on Facebook. We don't need a website or any special form set up on our website in order to collect information from leads. They can simply submit a form directly on the platform, and it also autofills their contact information, and that is going to increase our conversion rate as well. So we can set our performance goal. Underneath that, we want to maximize the number of leads, and then make sure you have your Facebook page selected here. And then we're just going to leave the cost per results goal completely blank. We're going to scroll down a little bit. Now, a lot of people have asked me, what is a good daily budget to start out with? I recommend at least $5 per day. And this is per ad set. So today we're going to be creating 2 ad sets. So if you did $5 per day each, that would just be $10 per day total. But it really just depends on what your budget is. You can spend upwards of $50 to $100 per day, and you would be bringing in some serious leads at that point. $5 to $10 per day, you're bringing in maybe 1 or 2 leads per day. So it just really depends on how much you have to spend and how many leads you want in your pipeline at the moment. But I recommend starting with at least $5 to $10 per day. Scrolling down a little bit more, we're going to start setting up our audiences. And I know a lot of people also struggle with this section, so we're going to go through this as slowly and as detailed as possible. We're not going to mess with our custom audiences here. We're going to leave this completely blank. We are going to start with location targeting. This makes the most sense with realtors. So we're going to X this United States because we do not want to advertise the entire United States. We just want a local market here. So you can either zoom in on your map here. Let's say we're in Utah. And then we can drop a pin over any area that you want to target. And it's going to give you a 15-mile radius. And this is the minimum. Otherwise, we can increase this to whatever we want. And we can drop as many different pins as we want here. Let's say we want to drop another pin over Park City, include all of this. And that way we're targeting everyone who is local. The next thing we can do is actually type in our search bar here and search by city or county. So let's say we want to target Salt Lake City. We can target Salt Lake City, Utah, or maybe we want to target Utah County. So there is a ton of different location targeting options for you to use here. But I always recommend narrowing by location first. And then if I scroll down a little bit, by detail targeting second. So you'll notice we can't change the age range here. We can't change the gender, but we can add some detailed targeting options. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky because there are a ton of different options here. I've listed a bunch of options that you can use on the screen now for buyers and sellers. But just note that detailed targeting options are changing constantly. And one thing that I love to use is this suggestions drop down here. I'll show you how that works. But first, we need a starting off point. So if we're looking for buyers, one thing that would make sense is if they're interested in Zillow and searching for houses on Zillow. So that might be a good starting off point. And then we can click this little suggestions drop down. And it's going to give us a bunch of interests that are related to Zillow. So we have property finder, we have first time buyer, we have real estate investing. Maybe you want to target investors or any other interest that you might find. Now, a few tips here. We want to land in the green section of our audience definition. We don't want to be too specific, but we also don't want to be too broad. So if we're landing in this green area, that is a very good area to be in. Now, another tip is I really only want one interest per ad set. And that is because if I go through here, start adding a ton of different interests, and then I run my ads and they work, or maybe they don't work, I don't know why. I don't know which interest is getting the results and which interest is wasting my budget. So if I just narrow this down to one interest per ad set and get rid of all these other ones, and maybe we want to go with Zillow as our first interest. When I'm running my ads, I can see very clearly if Zillow is working or not because we just have one ad set with our Zillow targeting. So the only time that will change is if we're in this very specific audience definition range. And in that case, we can add maybe 2 or 3 different interest targeting to get us into this green zone. Otherwise, just stick with one interest per ad set. So we're going to stick with Zillow today. And we're going to leave everything else as is. We want our placements to just be Advantage Plus, which is recommended by Facebook anyway. And generally that'll get us the best results, the lowest cost per lead. Now, before I click next, I'm going to scroll up to the very top. I'm just going to change this ad set name to something that makes sense. We're looking for buyers and our targeting was Zillow. Just so we know at a glance what this ad set is. Then we can go ahead and click next. And we can set up our first ad. Now we're only going to launch one ad today. You can launch multiple ads under each ad set, but I know that starts to get confusing. So I'm just going to launch one ad per ad set today. For our ad name, we're just going to choose ad version 1. Make sure your Facebook page and your Instagram account is selected. And if you don't want to connect your Instagram account or you don't have a business Instagram account, that's completely fine. You can simply use the selected Facebook page and your ads will still show up on Instagram. After we've selected that, we can create our first ad and we're just going with a single image and we can scroll down and start setting that up. The first thing you need to do is add your media. So you can just upload the image that we provided to you. Again, the link is below this video. And as soon as that is uploaded, we can click next. And we want to make sure that the ratio is correct on all the placements here. So we want it to be square on everything. We don't really want to cut out any of the image here because that won't look very good. Then we can click next. We don't want to do anything else. We're just going to click done. On the right here, you have a little ads preview of what it's going to look like when people are scrolling Facebook. And you can click on some of these and see what it's going to look like on the Instagram feed, what it's going to look like on an Instagram story. You can view all your placements. That way you get a better understanding of what your ad is going to actually look like. And then we can start adding our text. Now, we provided a document to you with some text that you can just copy and paste here. That way you don't have to do any work really. And the nice thing about Prospect Engine is we always give you all the ads, the text, what to say in the actual forms down here when they open up the form. So we make this whole process very streamlined for you. Once we have all our text in here, the last thing we need to do is customize our call to action. And we want get offer. Seems to work the best. Learn more is also very good. But realistically, something that makes sense based off of what lead magnet you are advertising. So we're going to advertise a free list of exclusive homes for sale. So get offer makes sense. The very last thing that you need to do is create your form. So that's going to be when they click this button, instead of going to your website, there's going to be an instant form that pops up on Facebook where they can fill out some information about the home that they're looking for, and then also their contact information. Now, one thing I will mention before we even start setting up this form is if you want a cheaper cost per lead, maybe skip this first section that asks them all about the type of home that they're looking for. You're going to get more people opting in for this if it's just their contact information because it's shorter to fill out and their information will actually autofill. Then you can just follow up with them, whether it's a phone call or a text saying, hey, I just need some additional information from you, what type of homes you're looking for. That way I can send over a custom list that's tailored to your preferences. Otherwise, I'm going to show you how to set up this first section with a few custom questions to ask the lead kind of what they're looking for right up front. So I'll show you how to do this both ways here. First thing we need to do is just click create a form. For the sake of time, I'm just going to duplicate our form here. That way we can quickly show you how to set this up. So very first thing you need to choose is whether you want more volume or a higher intent. Most of the time I will choose more volume just because we don't really need a review step unless you're getting a lot of form submissions with false information, for example, fake numbers, fake email addresses. You might want to choose this higher intent option here. But because people know that we're going to send them a free list of homes, probably going to put their correct email, their correct phone number in here so that we can actually get that list to them. So the first thing that Facebook wants us to do is set up an intro. Now, we can actually skip the greeting and go straight to the form if we want. So the greeting is just going to be this section right here. Otherwise, in the document that we provided, you can just copy and paste this text here and create a greeting. It's always recommended because it reminds people of why they're giving you their information. I always recommend a greeting, and so does Facebook. Underneath that, we have our custom questions. So we just have a bunch of multiple choice questions and then a couple short answer questions. Again, all of this is listed in the sheet below this video. In order to add a new question, you can simply add a multiple choice, add a short answer, or any other questions that you might think of or you might want to add to this form. You can definitely do that using this dropdown. After all your custom questions are set up, we're going to go to the pre-fill questions, which is just going to be the contact information. So you want to at least be collecting their email, their full name, and their phone number. And be careful with what type of information you ask for. If you are advertising to sellers, for example, you cannot ask for their address. If you're advertising to buyers, you can't ask for their credit score, financial information, anything like that. So you have to be very careful with what types of questions you ask here. Facebook will shut you down if you start getting too personal or start asking for information like that. Very last thing you're going to need is a privacy policy. Now, if you do not have a privacy policy, you have a few different options. You could sign up for Prospect Engine. Every single account comes with a privacy policy ready to go. Otherwise, you could use a privacy policy generator online and just host that page on your website, or you could use ChatGPT. There's a million different ways to generate a privacy policy, but you definitely need one if you're running any sort of ads. Or if you have a website, you really do need a privacy policy on that website. So you just paste the link to that here. And then the last step is completion. And this is where you're going to tell leads what to expect. So we'll be in touch soon. Keep an eye on their phone. And also you could add a little call to action. For example, if someone's in a rush to move or something like that, you could say, give us a call now with your phone number linked with a call now button. Once your form is set up, you can publish by clicking this button here. I'm just going to exit out because we don't need another lead form. And then you're ready to publish your ad. We are completely done here. Now there's just a few more things that I wanted to mention before I pass back over to Josh. I mentioned we are going to launch a couple different ad sets. So the easiest way to do that is to simply click on this little action menu and duplicate this ad set. We don't want Facebook to change anything here, so we're going to duplicate with current settings. Click continue and then duplicate. Now you'll notice it copied over our ad as well, which is very nice. And on this second ad set, we can set up one more targeting option. And it's always nice to target 2 or 3 different interests. That way you can see what is working and what isn't. So we're just going to scroll down here. We're going to use one of our suggestions here. And maybe you want to go very broad with just house real estate for our second targeting option. Remember, 1 interest per ad set. And we're going to scroll back up to the top and rename this buyers house real estate. So if I exit out of this, you'll notice we have 2 different ad sets here, our house real estate, our Zillow interest, and under both of these, if we head over to our ads tab, we have our ad set up. So to reiterate, 1 campaign for buyers, 1 for sellers, and underneath each campaign, I recommend at least 2 ad sets with different targeting options. You can set up as many as you would like, let those run for a few days, and then simply shut off the ones that aren't performing. Our targeting for today was Zillow and then house real estate. Underneath that, we have all of our ads. You can launch as many different ads as you want per ad set. We just launched 1 ad per ad set. And last, you might be wondering, where do my leads go when they come in and submit a form on Facebook? That is a very valid question. And if we click on all tools here, we can head over to our Meta Business Suite, where we can view all of the leads that have come in. So make sure the correct account is selected. And to access our leads, we'll just head over to our Leads Center. We can access our leads one by one, or we can download the entire file as a CVS spreadsheet. Now, if you want to integrate Facebook with your CRM so that your leads are automatically pulled over, we can do that by again going to all tools. We want to head down to our instant forms here so that we can connect our forms with our CRM. In order to do that, you'll just click on CRM setup and you'll have a little search box here with a drop down to connect your CRM, making your life so much easier. Now, there's one last thing that is super important when you're running ads, and that is time to first contact. In a recent study conducted by leadresponsemanagement.org, you are 100 times more likely to actually connect with your new leads if you're able to respond to them within the first 5 minutes of them filling out a form. That is opposed to an hour after they fill out the form, just 1 hour after. In addition to that, you are 24 times more likely to turn that lead into an opportunity if you connect with them in the first 5 minutes. So that is why having a good CRM system is so important, and the reason why we recommend signing up for Prospect Engine. But even if you don't, any good CRM could work as long as you're getting to those leads within the first 5 minutes. So I'm going to pass you back over to Josh, where he's going to show you how to set up a CRM system, how to automate parts of your process, and also how to save yourself countless hours throughout your day.
So now that you got your Facebook ads set up and your leads are coming in, you're going to need a way to stay organized, keep in contact with all of your leads, make sure nobody's falling through the cracks. You want to make sure you're not wasting any of your ad spend money on leads that you're not following up with, and people that are getting forgot or left behind. And so I like to keep all of my stuff really simple, kind of move them down a really simple pipeline. They come in as a prospect, they ask for some sort of information. Once they've responded to that information, it'll automatically move them into my new lead. This will give me prompts to go ahead and follow up with this lead. They responded to one of my messages, so I can follow up and see what additional information they would like. If they need some more time to make a decision, I can drop them in my long-term nurture right here. That'll start my long-term nurture workflow automatically. That way they're constantly being contacted. So, 6 months to a year down the road, whenever they're ready, they can reach out to me, and that's my go ahead to give them a call and see how I can help them. Once I've closed them, I simply just move them down here into the one pile, and that will put them in my sphere of influence. So I can follow up with them, ask for that repeat and referral business, start gaining some more organic leads that way and not have to pay for so many leads. One thing I see a lot of people get hung up on when paying for their leads and running social media ads is they don't follow every step of the process, right? They'll focus really hard on running their ads, or they'll focus really hard on following up with just the leads that they have. You want to set up this system to where you're moving them down your pipeline, right? They see you on Facebook, then they reach out and contact you, then they respond to one of your messages, and then I like to try and get them on a phone call once they respond. And then after I get them on a phone call, I'll ask them some more qualifying questions, vet them a little bit more, and then I push for an in-person meeting. Then once I get to that in-person meeting and I can build that rapport, that's when I actually try and close somebody and get them to sign me as their agent. It's not just a one-step process where they clicked on an ad and then they're looking to sign for an agent. They want to make sure that they're going to hire the right person. And so following each step of this process is very important. So that way you can convert more leads into clients by providing the value and showing people that, yeah, you are the professional in the area that they should be working with. Now, as soon as a lead comes in, you want to have something set up that's going to contact them immediately. As we discussed before, making contact within the first 5 minutes is going to drastically increase your chances of converting that lead into a client. So mine's all set up on automations. If you don't have automation set up or you don't want to do that, make sure you have some sort of alerts that's going to let you know, hey, a new lead just came in, get a hold of them. And then when you're reaching out to these prospects, the first couple of messages you send out, you want them to be friendly and just kind of informative, like, hey, what can I help you out with? You don't want to push real hard for, a meeting or, are you working with an agent? Things like that. You just want to kind of be like, hey, I noticed you requested this lead magnet. I just had a couple questions about it. So you send out a couple of easy to respond to text messages saying, hey, I just want to make sure you're getting the type of homes that you're interested in. I don't want to be wasting your time. And then I like to follow that process of getting them on the phone and then trying to get in front of them later on down the road once we kind of know each other. And so a lot of my messages are geared towards that of, hey, do you have a quick second to chat? Or easy respond ones. I have one for a CMA where it says, do you have a CMA yet? And a lot of sellers won't know what the CMA is, and they'll respond to, what is that? And that opens the conversation for me to provide more value to them and try and get them on the phone saying, if I can provide one for you for free, I just need some more information about your home. And it's a really natural flow to get them on the phone. And then it's also a really natural flow once you have that CMA to be like, yeah, I have it. I'd like to come meet with you and go over it and tell you what it means. So following each step of that process is really important. Like I said, you don't want to try and just skip certain portions of it, run some ads, and try and get people to meet with you right then and there. You got to kind of build that relationship, build your name out there so everybody knows who you are, and they're more likely to pick up the phone when you call or have a meeting with you. Now, one thing that's really great when it comes to automation, you can use these to follow up with people for a long time, right? You don't have to manually do it. It's going to save you a ton of time, and it's also going to help you retain a lot of those clients. I've had clients 6 months down the road respond to one of my emails that went out and said, hey, I'm in a position to actually move forward now. And then they booked my consultation and I was able to get them into a home. So you want to follow up with those leads long term, and automation is going to help you do that. So if they don't respond, or even if they do respond, they move over here to your nurture workflows. And then that way it's going to continue to follow up with them. So later on down the road when they're ready, they're still thinking of you. Now, if you're collecting people's information directly from your website, it should work the same as your Facebook leads form. All of my websites have contact forms that people can get a hold of me through, and it works the exact same way. So they come into my, click on the link, fill out the form, and they come into my CRM, and then all of my follow-ups start the same way. So whether you're using automations or not, you could do the same thing. You want your forms to be organized to where you know what specific lead type they are, what ad they were coming from, so that way you can keep track of where your ad spend should be going. All of these buttons, open different lead forms. They can request free guides and stuff like that, and I can collect their contact information that way. So if a seller comes in, they're like, oh, we like what he has. This is a free listing or a free consultation offer. So that I know that they're wanting a consultation, not a lead magnet, different things like that. And it'll keep it organized in my CRM. So that makes things really helpful if you're running people to your page or if you're doing Google ads and things like that too. But they all are organized for each specific lead magnet, and then they'll start that workflow automatically. So it'll contact them for me. It will send out the lead magnet for them and continue to follow up with them down that specific path. So one thing that's really cool about this is all of these specific forms, I could take just this form and put it on any website. So if I have a GoDaddy website or a WordPress website, I can take just the form and embed it on that website. If it doesn't have a CRM, it'll pull them from that website and put them into my CRM. So things like that to keep yourself organized and more efficient, keep everything in one place can make your life a lot easier, help save you a ton of time, help save you some money because you understand where your ad spend should be going, which ones you shouldn't be spending money on. So some of these things that like the automations and stuff are really helpful once you get up and going. I highly recommend setting those up. And so as I was talking about before, you want to make sure you're following every step of the process, right? You want to kind of usher these people down the pipeline, get them into a position where they're comfortable answering your questions that you need. Things like, a lot of people are not so receptive answering questions about their income or their living situation right off the bat. And so it's important to follow these steps. A couple of things to focus on, right, is you want to make sure that when a lead's coming in, you're contacting them really quickly. You want to make sure you have something set up to where you can track what ads are doing well, what lead magnets are doing well. So that way you know where to put your marketing budget and which ads and lead magnets you should cut out. You want to make your marketing budget go as far as you can. You don't want to be wasting money on paying for leads that you're not following up with long term. So have something set in place where you follow up with them long term. Give yourself more opportunities to close those leads down the pipeline when they're ready. And then a big one is building up your online presence with Google review requests, following up with your closed clients and telling them to leave you some reviews. So that way in the future, you don't have to spend very much money on paying for leads in the first place. You're getting a lot of organic traffic because you're coming up at the top of Google's search results when somebody asks for a realtor near them. So those are some of the main points to focus on when you're building out your follow-up system in your CRM. And I'm a big believer in making things as easy as possible, right? That was one of the reasons we built Prospect Engine in the first place. I mean, I've tried numerous CRMs. I've had KV Core, Top Producer, Real Geeks, all of them. And none of them had everything I needed in one place. And so I wanted everything in one place. I didn't have to go try and chase down my leads and figure out where they're coming from and spend all this time doing my online reputation building. And so I wanted to put it all in one place. And that's what we did. We did it from the eyes of a realtor, something that solved a lot of the gaps in the technology sector that we see as realtors. And so if you want to take a walkthrough and kind of see everything that Prospect Engine has to offer, there's a link below. You can set up a free walkthrough. I'll show you everything we have to offer, how it's all set up, and how we can help you automate your prospecting so that you can run and grow your business without spending a ton of your time or a ton of your money trying to figure it out yourself. Thanks, everybody. I hope this was really helpful. I hope you found it insightful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to walk you through setting up different parts of the system if you need. Have a good one.